There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Ooh, that's better theme music. Oh, what a red face I've got this morning. I think it's because I've got a green shirt on. You're not meant to wear green when you've got a green screen. So excuse me looking like the Portuguese flag this morning. Maybe red face and forehead and a green shirt. I hope that doesn't put you off your breakfast. Huh? Oh my God, it really is very red, as the actress said to the bishop. So how are you doing this morning? Hola, bon dia, alegria. And when I was out walking the dogs this morning, I was thinking to myself, is this the only morning show that really means good morning when we say good morning Portugal in the morning? Here from expatsportugal.com with me, Carl Munson. I really mean it. I really mean good morning, top of the morning to you. If you're already tuned in, and I'm aware as well, of course, that most people see the intro who watch later, and many people who are watching live might miss the first bit because they've wandered off to have a cup of tea or a pee or something like that, or watch the cricket, something like that. And they don't see the beginning necessarily. So a very good morning to you. I'll just delay that a little bit further. So live this morning, bon dia, alegria, from the bottom of our hearts and the heart of our bottoms. Very good morning to you. Like, I'm really feeling it. I am experiencing elevated levels of joy just recently. And I wish that for you as well. And for anyone who isn't it our community, not duty, because that makes it sound onerous, but isn't that how we roll here? That if anyone's falling behind a little bit or not feeling the May West the best, that we go into that geese flying formation, don't we? And they can tuck into the slipstream until they're feeling that top of the morning feeling as well. So good morning to you. Hola, bon dia, alegria. It's easy to say, but not so easy to really mean it. And I really mean it. So how's everyone doing this morning? Ian's in, James is in. T-Duck is back in his Lisbon throne in a format we're more familiar with Portuguese sayings. We've missed those. We're missing some Portuguese history as well. I think the prof is having a little break from that, but I hope he comes back. Baddie's here. See you later, Baddie. We're going to have a lovely meetup today. It's going to be a little bit different. Oh, that's the picture. I went to the festa last night. Best picture I got. I mean, got some great pictures of the festival. On the way back to home, took a lovely picture of the bay last night. Very moody picture. No filtration. It was just the light was perfect. Looking out at the Atlantic, as though that were the moment King Sebastian would come back across the mists, which I believe he's the young king who disappeared in battle. That the Portuguese hope will return one day through the mists, and it could have been last night in that wonderful. Well, I've got looking at my camera now, or my phone now with the pictures on it, and I'm seeing all sorts of wonderful things I could share with you. But I really want to share this one with you, so bear with. I won't share it right now, but I'm gonna do the necessary arrangements to get that into the right place to share with you. Full moon was beautiful last night as well, absolutely beautiful. How was it where you were? Do you have some nice pictures for me? 913-590-303. The moon, of course, is very difficult to photograph, as we know, but some of you have got some good kit. I think Owen's got good enough kit to take a fantastic picture of the moon. What's this? A message on WhatsApp? Are we up for Friday? Who's that? Get back to you. Get back to you. I'll deal with that after. Isn't it funny? When we've got so many platforms and so many messages, it's so easy to get distracted. I'm doing a live stream and I'm getting distracted. If I ever start looking at my phone during the show, I mean, not, I do look at my phone during the show to look at your messages. But if I ever sort of just drift away, like those rude people do at the dinner table, if I ever go like that, just somebody ring me up and say, Carl, you're live. You've drifted. What's it called? Fubbing. Fubbing is the habit, isn't it, of scrolling through your phone while people who know you well enough to not say anything about it, or they've told you enough times that you just don't care anymore. Yeah, fubbing is what people do, and they just throw their thumbs are stroking the screen as they look through the many platforms of their lives and ignore what's going on in the real world, the so-called real world here. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, photos of San Martino de Porto. It's going to be great at the meetup today. Don't forget, Portimao's meetup starts tomorrow as well. Fantastic job, Jack Polly, with that. So Portimao tomorrow, Silver Coast today. Looking forward to the company of Sarah Davy from Spartan and, of course, Nuno. Lovely people to hang out with. They're great associates here, helping you with the things you need to move to Portugal. But they're lovely people as well. So really looking forward to hanging out with them at lunchtime as I am with Baddy. And the slug might be there. Rumor has it the slug might be there. James, it'll be so lovely. Well, I hope it will, to embrace you in real life. Let's see how that goes. Somebody might capture that moment. The paparazzi might be there of Carl with a slug hug. I wonder what, it doesn't sound very nice, does it? A slug hug. But well, I'll report back tomorrow on what that was actually like. A God Squad tip of the day from Ian. From Coach Turner, we'll come back to that. Moaz is in. Hey, Moaz, how are you doing this morning? Tony, Baldylocks, Stephen is in as well. Capricorn Chris is in a bit early this morning, having a break from LBC. Gary's in, wishing us a wacky, wild, and wondrous Wednesday, fellow Gumpers. Absolutely. What are we going to do with our T-shirts and bumper stickers? Who doesn't like a good Gump first thing in the morning? Would that fly? Lee's here as well. Good morning, people. How you doing? We'll come to all of your comments and messages this morning in due course. Pete's in as well, as is Brian. So good to see so many of you for this Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday with the emphasis on food and a few things. I was hoping to bring you a sardine video. Do you know, I made one myself. I found it. It's in the archive, and I can't even remember doing it. This is... who doesn't like not remembering doing it first thing in the morning? I don't. It's a bit worrying when I've done all these shows in the morning. This was one. This is Good Morning Portugal show, 27th of July, 2020. Sardines and how to eat them. That is my own grill there, I'm proud to say. And they look pretty good, don't they? And that's when I was living in Korea, not far, between Coimbra and Aveiro, as my own photograph of my own cooking there. Dirty old grill, though, isn't it? I'm not sure if it's any cleaner now. Are you one of those people who cleans their grill straight after using it, or do you clean it just before the next cooking session? I wonder. But that was my sardine video. Too long to review this morning. I was hoping to share one from Andy over there in Barada, who I'm sure will get back to me and make the video that he sent me public so that I can download it and share it with you. So we do have a sardine cooking masterclass, but not today on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday, with an emphasis on food because, of course, Owen Lloyd-Martin is with us. We have that giveaway. Look at that scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You're lucky to be in early this morning. Win dinner for two at Cairo and Caldas de Rainha in 2 days' time, this Friday, 17th of June. Simply like their page and send them a message with the distance from Caldas to Cairo. I think that's a great question. Do you know, have any idea how far? And you can't look at Google. You've got to guess and on the distance there in miles or kilometers. But like their page, I think that I did put the link there, and tell them how far it is from Caldas to Cairo, and you might win yourself dinner for two, which I think includes belly dancing and drink as well as food. You can have an evening. I don't know if this particular, I think she is their resident belly dancer. And I have to say, I find that that's especially endearing and attractive image, I have to say. And Karnel Khalil night at Cairo restaurant, Friday, 17th of June. You can win yourself dinner for two there. And there's their number as well. If you want to, don't ring them up with the quiz. If you just want to make a reservation and go along, that's the number to call. If you want to win the dinner for two, like the page and send the distance from Caldas to Cairo through their PM on Facebook there, if you will. But that looks like fun, doesn't it? No mention of food or drink, or no connection to food or drink in the photo there. But I do recognize that backdrop, and I think they'll have a lot of fun on Friday. So, yeah, feel free to enter that competition. I'll leave that scrolling at the bottom there. So that's a highlight this morning, isn't it? Winning dinner for two. Any other establishments around the country who would like to publicize themselves and give something of value to our community here? We would gladly do that. Owen's here at 9. And he'll be talking with me, I think, in a somewhat disgusted manner at the idea that Pret-a-Manger, let me give you this headline, if this rather complex webpage from newfoodmagazine.com, it's in all the business pages and some of the Iberian press, of course, that Pret-a-Manger have announced their expansion into Spain and Portugal, the popular coffee and sandwich chain. Actually, what I'll do is he might not be watching yet. So when he arrives, well, let's see the look on his face when we tell him that Pret a Manger are coming to Portugal and Spain. But they've announced that they'll be launching the Iberian Peninsula operation after agreeing a deal with the restaurant group. The restaurant group are Ibersol. Yeah, Ibersol. Guess who else they represent here in Portugal? They represent, I think Owen's in the green room now. And I would love to see the look on his face when I mention that Ibersol also represent not just Pans and Company that you might have tried at the service stations and the food courts, Ribs, Santa Maria, and Fresco. Not so bad when you're in a food court, but as well as Burger King, Pizza Hut, KFC, and Taco Bell. Owen, you should see the. He's waving his. Look at a quick preview. He's what? He's not happy about that. More from Owen at 9 o'clock about that news. Pret a Manger, what do you think about that? I mean, I quite like a bit of Pret myself, but that was before I came to Portugal, and I much prefer the independent cafe restaurant vibe. And we'll talk about more about Pret a Manger anyway with with Owen when he arrives, which I'm sure will be a lot of fun. I've fixed the vid. Great. No problem, Andy. I can actually give the link to people who will want to watch that themselves. So I've got a link to that, and I will post that into the chat later for people who can't wait until we're on again and able to show it. That's not it. That's Cairo's link. And I think Owen might well want to enter the competition himself for dinner for two and caldas de Rainha, Egyptian food. Let's have a little bit of a chat about Egyptian food as well. I was trying to think. I did say to you yesterday, I was trying to think of a connection between Egypt and Portugal to make the question interesting. I couldn't come up with anything. Owen might have something of a culinary nature where there's a food that is shared by Egypt and Portugal, or he might not. We shall see. We shall see at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to just do the God Squad tip of the day and see how everyone's doing. And we'll go. We won't have to wait till 9 for Owen, will we? But I'm going to put the sardine cooking video. Thank you for that, Andy. We will make sure that everyone gets to see that one way or another. Moaz saying, I think Tamar Katan would appreciate the Cairo night. He spent his childhood in Cairo. My goodness. Yes, he would, wouldn't he? And our dear friend, the late Jacqueline, who Owen and I both knew. She was born in Cairo too, interestingly. Very interesting lady. She later became a model for Benson and Hedges cigarettes and was born in Cairo. And she told us the story of being put on the ship alone as a teenager, I think, to make the journey from Cairo, as people did with kids in those days, and still do, I'm sure, in certain parts of the world. But it's in our culture, we've got kind of things have changed. Although my parents used to put me on coaches on my own, but anyway, enough of my woes and troubles. God Squad tip of the day, then. If you, like Ian, are standing on the squashed face of Darth Vader this morning, the God Squad tip of the day: when running, visualize this, if you will. When running, and a lot of you are already going, no, that's not me. I know I don't run anymore. I don't want to break anything. But those of you adventurous enough to be still jogging, why would some of you be jogging? Probably to get to the toilet on time. Okay, so if you're running to get to the toilet on time, what other instances do you have for running? It ain't for the bus anymore. It's like, oh, sod it. I'll wait till tomorrow. Maybe, I don't know. It is probably that one, isn't it? Or to get to the remote control first. I don't know. When running, try to keep your hips as high as possible by extending your landing leg. Now, if you didn't know you had a landing leg, that you're like an aeroplane, it'll be, think about it. Your landing leg needs to be extended, tips slightly forward at the hips. Are you following this? And you'll be running efficiently. Now, there is an efficiency to running, which when you're young and a child, you just don't need to even think about it. You just run. Go, I need to run. I'm going to run, go. When you're older, the strategy and the technique really matters. And there it is for you. So when running, try to keep your hips as high as possible. And we'll have our own Vingle for these tips next week, I hope. That's down to me. Try to keep your hips as high as possible by extending your landing leg. Tip slightly forward at the hips, and you'll be running efficiently. Thank you very much for that. So from the slug this morning and the slug hug. Feliz carta todos. Quinta, surely, not carta. I'm going to have to leave early today. I've got somewhere I need to be in a few hours. Woohoo! And the Mark Twain quote of the day from the slug with the hug. You gwyn to have... you're going to have trouble in your life and considerable joy. It's like going into a box of chocolates, isn't it? Sometimes you going get, I can't do this southern accent. If that's indeed what it is. Oh yeah, sometimes you're going to get hurt, and sometimes you're going to get sick. But every time you're going to get well again. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn there. Thank you very much for that. Some life advice, and we do like dishing that out here, don't we? Bon dia Alegria Gumpers, thank you very much for that, James. And no, as well is in somewhere this morning. Where's he gone? He was in earlier this morning. That's really weird. His comments have disappeared. I saw them earlier on. Do they sometimes disappear when the show has started? That's really weird. But he had the answers to those 5 complementary health disciplines that were available on some health insurance policies here. They were here earlier on. They've gone. I don't know why that is. If somebody still has that on their screen and want to cut and paste, please do that. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers. Sorry, I rushed that. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers, from the bottom of our hearts and the hearts of our bottoms from T-Duck as well. With Portuguese sayings this morning, a sombra da bananeira, in the shadow of the banana tree. That's where you'll find me, lazy, not doing any work. Lazy? That is so judgmental. There's too much of a virtue made of this rushing about the place. Join me, a sombra da bananeira. If I could do this show from under the shadow of a banana tree, believe me, I would. Dish oroto anu. The torn says to the nude, you're one to talk. What? Based on a kid's book, if someone accuses someone of doing something they do themselves, you can reply with this idiom. Well, good luck with that. I mean, saying it's not easy, but the torn says to the nude is quite a difficult concept to even as a metaphor, as a visual metaphor. But who am I to judge a metaphor, given that I mix them up all the time? Thank you, T-Duck, for that one. Is anyone going to try that today? Ooh, the torn says to the nude. Yeah, try it. Onde Judas perdu as botas, where Judas lost his boots, an inaccessible or distant place. Look at that. That's a good one, isn't it? And dad jokes. Oh, yes. Okay. We'll go there. We'll go there straight away. No problem with that.
Warning.
Get that oh no in there early, because we have got a few dad jokes, a smattering of dad jokes. What is the collective noun for dad jokes? A groan of dad jokes for you here. I'm afraid for the calendar, its days are numbered. If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims. Yes. Yes, very good. I got carded at a liquor store. My Blockbuster card accidentally fell out. The cashier said, never mind. I don't really understand that. That says you're old. Yeah, okay. So if your Blockbuster card falls out, you're definitely old, aren't you? Young people, if any young people should be watching the show, Dad, what's Blockbuster? Bondi before Netflix, and even Netflix used to send out DVDs. Do you remember that, when Netflix used to actually send out the DVDs by post? How quaint was that? Bondi Carl and Gumpers from Moaz and Baddy. But Bondi folks, looking like a nice day for a meetup. It was a bit windy in the night, wasn't it? And the weather was a bit suspect too. I chuckled at the Blockbuster one, says James. Yes, and I didn't get it at first, but I do now. It doesn't need explaining to me. It's okay. I think I still have movies from Blockbuster. God, the fines on those Moas will be considerable by now. We had the Wacky, Wild and Wondrous Wednesday. Fellow Gumpers from Gary. Chris is here. Fajo do dia. Oh, what? That's what in my top 10. In my top 10. I even like George Michael and Mary J. Blige's cover of that. Really good, as Stevie Wonder. Check it out after the show. Yesterday, I was listening to a few of my favorite tunes after the show, I think it was. And I cry when I listen to music I love that really moves me. And I had my headphones on, and it was such a moment. This is life, I think, in the modern times. This is where we've got to. Here I am listening to music, weeping as I listen to some of my favorite soul tunes, with tears rolling down my face. I'm singing. It must have been pretty unpleasant to admit for other people, because I've got the headphones on. I'm hearing all the music in full harmonia. They're just hearing me crying and singing as though I'm at a Coldplay concert or something like that. And I get suddenly the kids are at the door. Mum wants you to come and clear up the dog poo. Can you imagine a come down harsher than that? Carl, slip, slap, slop. What? Slip, slop, slap. The sun is strong out there. Aloe vera will clear. It's not. I'm not burning up from the sun. It is a contrast issue. I'm being filtered. This is hashtag filter, because I've got a green shirt on. I do look like a Portuguese flag, red face and green shirt. But wearing a green shirt is playing a havoc with me green screen. Baldylocks is in. Morning, Tony. Morning, Stephen. And to Lee, good morning, people. Brian Bondia, late in again. But we have been featuring one way or another your fly traps. If you've got trouble with the undoing of flies, this is how they get undone. In a pit of rotting colleagues here. A pit of rotting colleagues. What sounds like the British Parliament at the moment. Look at this. There's one in the wild in its natural habitat. These work apparently strategically placed around the house, if we're talking about flies again, which we seem to be, and getting rid of them. Pete's in with a morning to Lee, Chris, Steve, James, Moaz, Barry, Gary, Tony, and Ian. Hope you're having a lovely time. And anyone else I've missed. All in all, from Owen, he'll be able to say that himself in just a few minutes. Whoop, whoop. Phil, you're on this Friday, aren't you? Lady K, Ian, I think it's your Friday. We have GIR, Global International Relocation, tomorrow as well. Any questions about moving things around the world to or from Portugal, indeed, tomorrow. So that's how the rest of the week is looking. Oh, and on Thursday evening, tomorrow evening, the webinar will be Cost of Living in Portugal Utilities. Matty, let me just move your comment for a moment, because the webinar tomorrow evening, 16th of June, from 7:30, Cost of Living in Portugal. We're looking at utilities, and a few of us will be comparing notes and bills. Who is the canniest expat? If that's your thing and you'd like to come along and boast about the best deals you've got on electricity, gas, water, internet, or phone, come and join the panel on that. Who will be we will show us yours if you show us. No, we'll show you ours if you show us yours. That's our utility bills, and find out who's getting the best deals and who to go to when you're in Portugal for those things, and a little bit of info on that, because it's not easy. First time I signed up for electricity, it was at the back of an optician's shop. It's not always obvious how to do these things. And then they ask you what level of electricity you want coming into your house. Do you want 3 amps, 6 amps, 10 amps, or whatever, such that you can run a kettle and a hairdryer at the same time if you want that level of luxury. So all of those sorts of questions answered, particularly the suppliers and the prices tomorrow evening, and a few specialities, I guess, thrown in as well. The things beyond electricity, gas, water, internet, and phone. Some people might like to say how much they get charged for having bread delivered to them. I know, actually, I would class that as a utility. Bread is as important as gas and electricity, isn't it? More so sometimes when you're hungry. Owen, the message for you from Moaz. Actually, let me just start and save that. I think we're going to have to do quite a few of these when Owen gets here. And in fact, why should we wait any longer? Do you want to give me a nod, Owen, if you're ready to join us already? Why are we keeping you waiting until 9? You ready to join us on screen? He's got a thumbs up. He said, why didn't you ask me earlier? Owen, good morning to you. How are you, mate? Oh, go on, unmute for us. Give us that.
My mic's muted as normal. Very good morning to you, Mr. Redface. Good job it's not orange. Trump-esque.
Let's not be upsetting our listeners. Honestly, it's the green screen. I don't think I'm as red as this in real life at the moment. But yes, I am looking like a Portuguese flag. All I need is a gold disc where my mouth goes, which I'm sure some people will be happy to organise. How are you this morning? You've got a nice backdrop there. It looks very sleek and stylish.
Well, you have to excuse it if there's any background noise that's here. I'm actually out on the barbecue, on the balcony with a barbecue just behind me there. Yeah. I'm actually up. I'm still all dressed in the chef's whites and everything. I'm actually in the middle of baking a cake. It's the Doc's birthday tomorrow, so I'm baking him a vegan chocolate cake, 4-layered chocolate cake.
Lots of hands going up already. Where can I get one of those? Well, happy birthday. We don't do happy birthday in advance here in Portugal, by the way. But that sounds lovely, Owen. Chef's whites. Are they still chef's whites if they're black?
Well, that's, political correctness and all that, Carl, I suppose it is, isn't it?
Should we go there or not?
Let's not.
So talking of barbecues, give us a rundown of exactly how much fun was had last Sunday. I hear it was fantastic, and I was sad only to be there before everyone else got there.
Well, I did actually see you. I did actually wave to you as we was driving in, as you was driving out. Exactly that. It was a really good day. That the sun was beating down. We interacted with a lot of the Portuguese groups and families that were there on the day, and actually even got a nice compliment made, because I ended up sharing a barbecue or half a barbecue with a group of Portuguese people, and we were trying each other's food, and I actually tried my bacalhau dish with them, which went down rather well. I think Gary's got that all on video.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Come back to that because that is such a lovely thing to happen. But you and I will be looking at theculturetrip.com and the top 10 Portuguese dishes you need to try now, it says.
Oh, yeah.
And bacalhau is on there, and we'll work our way through those as well as all the comments and questions that come in. If you do have a comment or a question about anything to do with Portugal, but especially, of course, Portuguese food, do pop it in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer it. Me and Owen will be here until 10 o'clock. So you are mixing and mingling with the Portuguese families. This is, of course, made possible at a Portuguese barbecue area, picnic area, Parque de Merendas. That vibe is pretty good. That is a good way of gathering, is it not?
Oh, it was amazing, Cal. I think the best thing, the thing that I enjoyed the most. I mean, we've talked about my love of food on a number of occasions, and the thing is with me is that I think what we've lost over the years with the invention or with the appearance of fast food outlets.
Oh,
yeah, I thought it was, but it was nice really because one of the dishes we had on the day was a vegan kebab. And because I was too busy doing the jerk chicken on the barbecue, everybody that was sat down on the table actually made up all the kebabs themselves. So it was a lot of interaction going on the table. People that hadn't met each other were talking to one another, and that's what's great about when you're sitting down and eating food, in particular with strangers. It gets everybody talking, and that was my highlight of the day. Actually, stepping back and seeing everybody else prepping the food before it went onto the barbecue grill. So that was really good.
Yeah, and that refectory eating the outdoors, cooking food over flames, and then the inevitable rubbing shoulders, not only with people within our community who hadn't met each other before, but the Portuguese families. What exactly was it you were trying? Well, no, actually, before we go there, I saw the Portuguese families arriving, and you see one cool box comes out the car, then another one, and before you know it, there's like 20 cool boxes lined up. There's beer, there's wine, there's tablecloths. It's really done very, very well, isn't it? And you could think to yourself, it's just a picnic. It's a barbecue area. But the Portuguese have a fabulous approach to this, where it's a full scale. It's like a barbecue / banquet, isn't it?
Well, there was at least 3 hog roasts, pigs being roasted on that particular day. There was the cafe racer, the motorbikes, the cafe racer bikes. There was the gang that turned up. Maybe about 40 people all turned up on their little cafe races. But it was funny, really, because it was, all intents and purposes, a bunch of bikers that turned up in all the leathers and everything. And they sat down to tablecloth and doilies and napkins and everything else for the barbecue. Seriously, but it was.
That is so funny because, like, in some parts of the world, if the bikers turn up, the atmosphere can change a little bit, can't it?
Absolutely. In fact, just to say that as well is that some of the people that was there at the barbecue were actually dancing with some of the Portuguese people that was there when the music was being played. There was loads of different music being played, but we ended up, having a really good entertaining day for everybody.
Yeah, and I forgot that the music was pumping as soon as I got there from early on. Troncão is the name of this particular picnic area, and it's slightly different, isn't it? Because I think there is a cafe, and it's slightly on the commercial side. There's
a bar. There is a bar. Yes, I think you may have lost my signal, Carl.
No, I've got you. Well, you're frozen, but we can still hear you.
There we go. I'm back. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, there was actually a bar there as well, which was really good. Although people did, 1 or 2 people did take along their own booze. But yeah, there was a bar there.
You're not expected to use the facilities there, are you? Oh, he has gone again now. What that was the thing.
Well, you're not expected to, but I think it's just courteous, really. I mean, you freeze frame now.
Carry on. We can hear you.
Yeah, no, I just think the whole organisation of the place is brilliant because you can ring and call and reserve your area. But it really is. I mean, like I said, I assumed, which is wrong for me to do, is that we would have a space all to our own. But fortunately, we actually shared it with the other Portuguese, another Portuguese group that was there, which was really good for the interaction, really, and just getting along.
Definitely, definitely. I think you've got a little bit of a typo there. If people want to get in touch with you, because business is booming for you, I understand. Food, there we at gmail.com. So I think we need to get that email sorted out in case people.
I think we're better at, aren't we? Let me just see see if I can sort that right out.
People are booking you, ringing you up, emailing you, and you're all over Portugal by the sound of it. Doing.
I am. I'm going to be travelling up and down Portugal, visiting people and cooking for them. But what I do plan to do also in the meantime is visit one or two Portuguese restaurants on my travels, and also as well is to call in to any expats that have any restaurants in the Portuguese area and have a little chat with them and do a few videos at the same time.
Yeah, we want the videos. So there you go on the screen, live from Leiria this morning. You can hear the street sounds of Leiria. It's Owen Lloyd-Martin. Anything about Portugal? That should. I'm also guilty of a typo, and that should say ask anything about Portugal, especially Portuguese food. This morning, we're going to go through those 10 things you should try, according to what's it called, the Culture Trip website. Unique trips with care for the world. That's culturetrip.com, and their top Portuguese dishes you need to try. So we'll have a look at that, and we'll discuss whether Pret a Manger should open. He's getting him grumbling already about that. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, in a little while. Pret a Manger is about to appear. Probably at an airport or service station or a food court near you. I can't see. There he is, Ferrell. I can't see how it's going to work here, but we'll come back to more chat on that after we've heard more of your earlier comments and any questions that you have, anything about Portugal. Between us, Owen and I have got nearly 10 years experience of living in Portugal, so we'd be happy to share on that level. But also anything particularly to do with food, because we love talking about food when Owen is here. So let's see what everyone's saying. Something about the connection between Egypt and Portugal. You couldn't think of anything obvious, could you, Owen, earlier on?
No, I couldn't. No, I've been searching through this morning, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, okay. But you like Egyptian food, I take it. Did you go to Cairo when you've been in the Silver Coast?
I haven't. I did. I contacted them a few weeks ago and become friends with them via Facebook. It was one of the places actually while I was in Caldash that I was to visit. But I do intend to visit very, very soon. Potentially when the belly dancing's on. I don't know why, but potentially when the belly dancing.
I think it does seem a bit odd, doesn't it, for somebody to be gyrating around you, barely clad, while you're eating. But then the more you think about it, the better it's, the better it sounds.
It does.
Anyway, each to their own. Each to their own.
Yeah, exactly that. That.
But I don't think anyone would want to see me. Maybe they might like to see you, Owen. But I don't think anyone would want to see me gyrating around with barely anything on.
Belly, Carl. It's called belly dancing. Have you seen how skinny I am? I have no belly. I have no belly.
I've got a belly, but I don't think it's the kind that's. Sarah's here. Good morning to you, Bondia Gumpers. Oh, look, Khan El Khalil. So Moaz knows a thing or two about Egypt. It's a famous market in Cairo and very popular among the tourists. So that's the name of the event tomorrow night, where you can win dinner for two there. Jim White's in this morning. Bon dia todos. Have a great Wednesday. Phil's in with a whoop whoop this morning. And Andy, bon dia. Sorry, mate, I fixed the video. Okay, yeah, so his sardine cooking video. I'll make sure you've got the link to that later on. Anytime someone simply types slug in their comments, shows up highlighted in mine. Yes, that's a busy morning for you then. On your way to the meetup later on, which is fantastic. Yes, Tamo would love to, I'm sure, would appreciate Cairo. Maybe he could do a comedy. Maybe we could get to Cairo possibly to do a comedy and Cairo night there. That would be quite incredible if Tama came over for some Egyptian food and we could see his gig there in Caldash. That would be pretty awesome. I doubt there's a strong historical connection between Egypt and Portugal. The Portuguese presence was mainly in the Persian Gulf, and they built big forts in Bahrain and Oman. So, yeah, still struggling there to make a connection. But the question we want you to answer, after liking their page to get the dinner for two with belly dancing and booze, sounds like a great evening, is how far is it from Caldash to Cairo? Send the answer to them on their Facebook private message after you've liked their page. Carl, the Southern drawl needs, I thought it did, help available in Setúbal there. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not getting corrected on my Portuguese, I'm getting corrected on my Southern American accent now. I had no time to practice. I got an email from Bruno, and it included the 5 alternative medical disciplines that are recognised by the Portuguese law. He wished us a very good morning this morning. If some health policies, his comments were in earlier and they've gone, but the natural health areas are acupuncture, physio, homeopathy, traditional Chinese medicine. That's more than 5, I think. Naturopathy, osteopathy, chiropractic. Afraid mine is not fitting in any of these boxes. Oh, that's a shame, Matty. That could change. Kawaii Panda's in as well. Morning, everyone. Back in England yesterday. Looking forward to some tasty recipes to cheer me up. We'll go right there after we've said hello to everyone. Hola, bon dia, Carl, and everyone. Can't stay today, sorry, but I love it when people come and say they can't stay. At least they're thinking about us. Bon dia, todos. One more day till the Portimao meetup. Yes, Jack. It's going to be great. The inaugural meeting tomorrow. Fabulous. And let's see if there's anyone we haven't said hello to. Yes, Cindy B. Bon quinta-feira. No, it is quarta-feira, isn't it? My mistake. Quarta-feira, quinta-feira tomorrow. Alegria Gumpers. I cut that sentence in half there, didn't I? Bon quarta-feira, alegria. Is it too hot out there, Owen?
It's just as hot in the kitchen, Carl, I can tell you.
You can't stand the heat, mate.
I was just thinking really of the background noise. That's why I thought I'd move indoors.
That sounds great. Thank you. No worries, Carl. We'll tell you how red you are at the meetup. I'm sure you will. Bring some of that aloe vera plant. Oh, no, you can't. It doesn't work anymore.
Pick me up on the way, Matty. Pick me up on the way, Matty.
Pick me up on the way, Matty. Chocolate. I wonder why. Oh, yes, you mentioned. I think it's a kind of Homer Simpson moment, isn't it? You mentioned chocolate vegan cake. And
everyone she was referring to me. Sorry.
Hey, maybe. I don't know. Let's check with Maxine. Let's check with... To what? To whom might you have been referring there? Morning from Andy this morning.
Right,
and the barbecue was a lot of fun. Thanks, Owen. So a review from T-Duck there. Here's the article if you want to go through it yourselves as well. Top 10 Portuguese dishes you need to try now. And we will go and have a look at those in just a moment. Chocolate cake for the dog. Vegan or not, is this okay? Okay, so chocolate not good for doggies. Is it real chocolate inside the vegan cake? Probably not good for dogs.
It's chocolate full stop with dogs is just a no-no for me. I've had 2 border collies in the past and never ever fed them chocolate. I've seen what damage it can do. So okay. I've never crossed that vegan bridge.
That's threshold. Okay. Speaking of veggie food, I'm trying a rotisserie veggie option by soaking a pie. What? Because you like the look of Brian's vertical rotisserie. This is not a bad idea, is it?
Brian, address, please.
You then slice it like a doner kebab on a skewer.
Oh, that'd be amazing. With pineapple rum. Do you know pineapple rum? It sounds like a Malibu.
Malibu.
Ultraviolet. Anyway.
With Cairo, I was very impressed, says Gary. There weren't any belly dancers. I did offer. But they said that they had only got the place straight after the last earthquake. Oh, do you know what? I'd pay to watch that.
Yeah, me too. Go on, Gavo, you can do it.
After a few beers, maybe. Could there be a typo in Owen's email address? Look at that. We're all looking out for you. I think that's sorted out now, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
To use the bathroom there for your needs. Lol, not use the trees. I think this was yes, there were toilets at the barbecue area.
Oh, yes, there were.
Did you have to stop Matty being a Northern European and just urinating wherever he felt?
Yeah. He just stood up at the table and said, Matty, you just can't do that here. You
can't take the Northern Europeans anywhere, can you? I have to be a functioning individual. I'm so sorry to hear that. Have a great day, everyone. Someone's got to do it, haven't they? Someone's got to keep the economy going. Well done, Andrew. Thanks for doing that on our behalf. Oh, pret-a-manger is a running joke in my family. Before I was educated, I used to say pret-a-manager. Don't ask where the A came from, but I was copying the other English saying it. Yeah, that was quite a risk to release pret-a-manger on the British, I think, wasn't it? Go down, Fred. And yes, anyone, in fact, I think, according to Owen this morning, whenever we pass it now, the French turn to me and in their best mock English, say it and laugh. Oh, it's that relationship, that special relationship between the English and the French. Had a great men's day here. I want a men's day, men's group on the Silver Coast, actually. No offense to anyone. I just would like that. And I think it could work. Here with the lads at a local bar many years ago, eating, drinking, and enjoying a belly dancer troupe. Now, that's beginning to sound a little bit spearmint rhino for my liking.
Just a tad.
I think belly dancing is a family thing, isn't it? Once it's just an all blokes group, then it is getting a little bit. Well, like I said before, each to their own. But it would appear to be a good family event at the restaurant and seeing the belly dancing and so on. And I would put it to you that the female form is better adapted to the belly dancing, and I think it is a celebration of the.
There's his disclaimer, Garbo. There's his disclaimer.
Yes, the female form. I'm backing away from it now. I went to America. Oh, there we go. That was your earlier review. Belly dancers were huge stars in Egypt, and so they should be in the 60s and 70s, and they were like rock stars. Incredible, and it's an incredible skill, isn't it, when you see it done properly? It's a variation, says Brian, going back to his pineapple. It's a variation of fireball pineapple. What's that, Owen? Do we know?
I'm not sure of that. That's something that's new to me, but I'm sure it's got something to do with the rotisserie.
Yes. Okay. So we'll come back. There's talk of javelot from Gary. Let's have a look at some of these. Before we get controversial with pret-a-manger, let me bring onto the screen some of these 10 things that the culture trip think you should be trying in Portugal. And I think you and I, Owen, will have done quite a few of these or tried quite a few of these and have been delighted to do so. Bringing it onto the screen for you now. And the link is somewhere in the chat if you want to have a look yourself. And it'll be interesting to see what adverts come up, as it always is when Google are choosing them. So we can see the bacalhau there. That was always in there. Just to rewind quickly then, your bacalhau, did you make some rissoles to take to the...
I made some little fritters, yeah. And that was with a avocado cream. And like I say, I was offered some food by the Portuguese group that was next to us. And in turn, I offered them, 4 of them, a fritter each. And it went down really, really well. I mean, that for me is better than being paid, for a meal. If you're going to do a Portuguese dish and it's appreciated by the Portuguese, I think you're on to a winner.
Yes, indeed. Oh, that's so lovely. That's a little crossover there in the culinary Venn diagram. So your export, as it were, or interpretation went down very well with the Portuguese, which I'm glad to hear. The bacalhau. So people, anyone in case they just hear the word but don't know what it is the salted cod. Probably the most powerful relationship and experience you'll have of it is going into a Portuguese supermarket for the first time, where it is always sale. Do you remember that the first time you went into a supermarket and thought,
yeah, I'm just thinking, what's all this dry fish doing laid about everywhere? Everywhere, literally everywhere.
And it's out in the open, isn't it? And it's got a very strong aroma, let's face it.
Well, that's it. But if you a lot of people will turn their nose up at it. But if you think about it, really, before the days of refrigeration, that's what we had.
Of course.
You got to bear with me. The buzzer's just got on the door. I didn't know the dot went out, so I'm going to let you in.
I'll go through a few of these while you go and see what. This is going to be exciting, actually.
Thank you.
Let's see what happens here when Owen returns, and we'll see who's been at the door. Okay, let me share with you then a few. I'll run through a few of these so you can see which of them you've tried yourself. Cataplana de Marisco, the seafood feast. Cataplana is, I wonder what that is literally translated. Dish gets its name. There you go. It is the dish that gets its name from the copper pan it's cooked in. A cataplana, a pan with 2 rounded sides connected by a hinge. I don't think they're always hinged, are they? But anyway, that opens and closes like a clam, where onions, garlic, and tomatoes are stewed with glugs of wine. Not slugs, but glugs of wine, white wine, clams, whole prawns, and coins of chorizo. And my mouth is already watering. We have, of course, now I really like this. My barbecue looks a bit like this. The Americans are coming over to Portugal, aren't they? And they want their great big. Oh, Owen, who was it, Owen? Anything important?
It was the doc. The doc was just returning back. Just quickly going back to the cataplana. It's something that's the thing that I'm still waiting to try, because obviously it's one of the things that you can use a lot of seafood in. So I actually went to the market here in Leiria yesterday to try and price one up. And there were quite a few good prices there as well. But unfortunately, I couldn't find a copper one. I know that's going to be a bit more expensive, but I think the day when I find a copper cataplana, I think that's when I will be trying many different variations, because that looks an amazing dish. I've seen it being presented a few times at places that I've been to. So it's one of the ones that I want to try for myself first before I actually eat it anywhere else.
Indeed. The first time I saw it, a landlord, a lovely friend we made, Joao, who he runs a fantastic club, Club Knockout, in a suburb of Lisbon, south of the river. He sent me a picture of the upcoming meal that was being prepared, the cataplanas. First time I experienced it, but he just sent me a picture of the ingredients, and you just knew it was going to be great. And that's the cataplana, everybody. Who's tried that? What are your observations? Of course, sardinas asadas. I've got myself in trouble with the preparation. Did you see that? Where Gilda gave me
I did. I actually. Sorry, I'm laughing at it.
Still laughing about that.
I'm sorry, Carl. Because there's such a seriousness, I'm trying to explain that, I'm losing the word to you.
Because you're still
Gilda's face when you're explaining it is just brilliant. It's just like, Carl, just stop talking about it. You're not going to do it. Stop it. You're doing it all wrong. It's just brilliant. I love it.
It was I think sometimes even people tune in. They've already got here. They don't need to learn about migration. They just want to see Gilda telling Carl off. And that was I mean, am I really way off the mark? It sounded like I was committing a major crime against humanity that should be reported.
It did, but everybody can make mistakes. But then again, cookies are all about experimenting, isn't it? And trying different ways and different methods. So Gilda, let him off, please.
It was the pepper and the olive oil that did it, though, right? Because I think
I know. Well, if you think about it, sardines are oily anyway, Carl, aren't they? Sardines are oily anyway, so
Yeah. Okay.
But the Portuguese olive oil's good, so why? I don't know. Maybe that's ask Gilda.
Yeah, nicely done there. Nicely done there. Enjoy that, everyone. And it's actually an excerpt on our YouTube channel. If you missed it and you want to see that time, I didn't get the first time when I told Gilda I was giving up drinking for a year. That's the first time I got that look. That was almost, she was going to report me to a government department. So why would you want to do that? I think she actually said that could be bad for your health, giving up drinking for a year. And then the most recent one is the sardine. My roasting about sardine grilling. But look at this, Owen. I love it when I see a well-loved barbecue, and a lot of American I've got those smoker barbecues that you can't lift. They're massive things. They've got temperature gauges on them. They're sometimes connected to the grid and all this sort of thing. At the other end of the spectrum, you've got something like this. That looks like Granddad's had this for 50 years, right?
It does the trick. I'd rather have that than police with motorcycle outriders following me with a big trailer on the back. If you look at the big size of the American barbecues that are there, you just need something simple as that. Well, at the end of the day, if you're only doing your sardines, that's ideal. Or maybe just a hole in the ground with a grill over the top. Just something simple.
Yeah, and it is a gesture of your triumph over the adversity, isn't it? When you make some food over flames like this. Mine looks a little bit like that, I have to say. Mine is a composite of other old barbecues that I found by bins, because I'm a bit of a skip diver, as people are probably quite unnerved to discover here. But mine doesn't look unlike that. The main part, it was inherited with the house, and I've built it onto a stand of another barbecue that I found by a dumpster. I did wash it. And it doesn't look unlike that. So I'm quite proud of that. It's quite rusty, but we had some fish on it at the weekend. We had some lovely carapau, which again, I think the Portuguese would look at me and think, it's sardine season. What are you doing? But it was all that was left by the time I got to the fishmonger, and she gutted them. Even the little carapau, our lovely fish lady at the market, she was so fast as well. 10 carapau €3. I bought a couple of big slices, postas of salmon. Found out what a posta was on Saturday and grilled those on my bad boy grill that looks like that. Okay, let's move on then. We will just, that's how I do it. Cozido à portuguesa, classic, right? Okay, so sometimes referred to as the Portuguese boiled dinner, which doesn't sound at all appetizing, is a traditional stew. Although the ingredients often change depending on which part of Portugal it's prepared in. Yes, regional variations apply. It's essentially a platter of slowly boiled meats, sausages, and vegetables. In northeast Portugal, cozido overflows with farinheira, the breaded sausage, morcella, blood sausage, and alheira, sausage filled with a mixture of game and bread, chicken normally, right? While in the south, cozido can be found with chicken, lamb, potato, and mint. Boiling meat, Owen, it's gone out of vogue, hasn't it? I think boiling meat.
It has that, but us as Brits know about boiled ham and the rest of it, and it's one of those. It's especially when it's done well, it can taste really, really good. I think the thing that people will be worried about is if you're boiling that and you put all your veggies in, your veggies are going to be soggy at the end. But it's the way it's done. It's all about the timing and the preparation and the order of the food that you're putting in there.
Yeah.
I tried something quite similar at a Portuguese cafe at lunchtime. Actually, it was really, really busy, and I said I wanted something traditional and Portuguese, and I was quite surprised with that. With in particular the blood sausage with my northern roots and the berry black pudding. But I found that it was an amazing dish. I could have eaten probably about 2 bowls and probably about 3 loaves of bread with it. It was amazing.
Oh, so the bread's important, isn't it? To wipe the plate of all that lovely gravy that's left at the end. And often, actually, there's enough to take home, isn't there? Para lavar. A key phrase when you're eating out in Portugal, everybody, when you're only about a third of the way into a dish and you're not going to be able to eat it all, and you're thinking, how on earth am I going to get this home? The challenge was real when we were first in Portugal. How do I say, can I take the rest of this home? And it's something that is not at all frowned upon in Portugal, right, Owen? People would much prefer you. That's
true. In fact, it's taken as a compliment in some places, because obviously you're taking their food home, whereas people will tend to, oh no, I've had enough, I'll leave it here.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't want to
also, in the UK, you might get someone say, yeah, but it'll cost you. I've got to charge you for the box. I've got to charge you for the bag. No, nothing like that here in Portugal.
Exactly that.
Yeah, para lavar is the phrase you need. PARALEVAR to take away. Let's see what everyone else is saying for a moment before we return to that. And to pret a manger, moving into the Iberian Peninsula, thanks to Ibersol. Gary saying, when should we go to Nasa do Sol to have the javali? It's superb. Okay, Sunday, that'll be fine. Men's Day on Wednesday. Ooh, that means we've got to make it happen on a Wednesday. I was thinking of a Saturday afternoon, actually, for the Silver Coast.
Saturday afternoon's good.
It is, isn't it? A bit. It's going to be a little bit of touchy-feely, sharing of feelings, and lots of beer. I hope. Maybe not in that order. Maybe in that order. The beer first, and then feelings. Has men sort of hugging each other, does it? Oh, I really love you, mate, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Great name for an event. Men's Day on Wednesday. There you go. Took my 15-year-old son to that belly dancing event. It'd be nice to talk to the 15-year-old son about that. A day he may never forget. My version of spearmint right now. Peppermint pig. If we do get correspondence about that people do want to see Gary belly dancing, me and Owen will manage that, won't we? 20%.
We will, and it's all for charity. Yes, we will. Come on, Garbo, you've done it now.
It's a Peppermint Pig tour, the global tour. Gary dancing and pulling very fast.
On a Portuguese beach near you.
Bring your euros to tuck into his thong. I think.
Oh, God. I see. Picture ingrained in head. Thank you, Carl.
Move on. Avocado cream sounds delicious. What an excellent contrast. Hold on. If you see a comment from Pete and it's got spit roast in it, you just don't read it out.
You don't. No, you don't go there.
Thanks, Ducky. I have a huge amount of footage to trawl through because Terence was also filming as well. Be pleased, send some more by all means. Oh, is that footage from the barbecue? There's going to be Barbecue the movie as well, forthcoming.
Yes, it was filmed. We did do some filming, yeah.
Okay, and watch out for the director's cut from Terence as well. And is the extra DVD for that. Back again. Need to wait for a site induction so I can chill for now. Lol. Yeah, tell him you're doing some important research, Brian. The smells in the supermarket smell like work to me. Where did you work? Oh, from my youth in fish factories. Oh, baddie. Isn't it great? What was the toughest job anyone here had to do as a teenager? Do let us know. But
Gosh.
Teenage memories for Baddy there. What were you thinking there? You're 27-year-old.
Yeah, being a mountain goat herder. No, I worked in a tannery. So you got all the, the smelly hides of animals being sorted.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one step up from the glue factory, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, you get rather high though at the glue factory.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yikes. So, okay, so you had to get used to that, did you? Could you get it's a bit like working in a fish and chip shop. Sometimes difficult to get the smell out of your hair. Did it stay in your hooter?
I did that. I actually worked for a company in Rochdale, Greater Manchester, called Henry Ford, that made chip fryers for fish and chip shops, and also the great big catering ovens for the Royal Navy. And I was... had the task of priming the units before they were fully painted. But going back to the fish and chip shop.
Sparking up the oil. Wow, okay, you're priming fish fryers.
Yeah, and big Navy ovens. And I remember actually going to a fitting at a fish and chip shop, and it was amazing because we were going in to fit in a new fish and chip fryer, but somebody had obviously been in the day before to take out. And, fish and chip shops, regularly change the oil, but there still obviously is that lingering smell. So if you imagine this fish and chip shop had their range in for over 25 years and we were going in with a new one, there was quite a smell in the fish and chip shop when the old unit was removed. But yeah. A
little bit of old 20-year-old detritus. Oh, here's that chip we lost in 1980. I knew it was here somewhere.
But I bet if they found the McDonald's hiding behind it, it'd still look the same.
Indeed,
20 years on.
Yeah, we'll talk about pret-a-manger in just a moment and the faster food on the spectrum. Wash hands. That's an emoji that got lost in translation. Dzień dobry, Barbara in Poland this morning. Just calling in to say bon dia. Busy morning. Thanks, Pam. We appreciate it. Really do. A lot of people can't stay, but they come and say hello anyway. So, and as I said this morning, when we say good morning here, we really mean it. We want a heart-to-heart connection. I know you're all about that as well, Owen. It's easy to say good morning, isn't it? But to really mean it and to dwell on it, I think is quite important.
It is. It's very, very important. Just on another note, on another side note, with that, Carl, I actually a wonderful experience of the day of having a complete and utter stranger smile at me. It might sound strange, but over the last 2 years with mask wearing and everything else, the smiling and the laughter has been somewhat amiss. And it was so nice just for a random person just to turn around and smile and say bon dia to me. And it was lovely. Sorry, I just thought I'd share that with you.
I'm often that random stranger, and it doesn't always work. I think it might be a cultural thing. From the UK where I've been more comfortable, I suppose, to be able to talk my way out of situations like what you looking at.
Yeah, I've had that a lot.
Or what are you laughing at? It's just a smirk. What are you smirking at? Just good morning.
Sorry, my lord.
You again. But in Portugal, I don't think it is customary necessarily to give a random smile. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I think in many ways it is next level. There should perhaps be a level of familiarity before you go with a full-on grin with strangers. And sometimes I do get a kind of knockback, a psychic knockback from somebody thinking, I don't know this bloke and he's grinning at me like an idiot. So sometimes it goes like that, but the rest of the time it's a lot like Owen said, and it really touches your heart, doesn't it, to have that happen?
Oh yeah,
because it's like you say, it's random and sudden, and it bypasses all the rational filters, doesn't it? It's just a heart-to-heart human connection.
I was taken aback with it, and it was like, oh, disco, bon dia, back again, just completely out of the blue. Beautiful. I think it's the sunshine as well. The sunshine brings out the best in people.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. And until their face gets so red that people don't smile at you because they just think you're a terrible drunk walking around the town, which is what I have to face at the moment. Bring the aloe vera, Matty. I think sardines with black. Oh, look, an uprising. Somebody's with me. The revolutionary sardine grillers of Portugal. Our first.
Gilda, I have nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this part whatsoever.
Owen. Backing away from the plan.
I don't want to feel the wrath of Gilda, so I'm staying neutral.
Is that one of the Star Wars movies, The Wrath of Gilda? I think it is, isn't it?
I think it is, isn't it? The Wrath of Gilda. Star Trek.
Star Trek, I beg your pardon. Whoops, that's more trouble I'm in this morning. I love that. I've had wonderful versions in the alcohol. Morning, Sharon, as well as Taberna Dadelia. In Nazaré, sent you a pic. We've got a cata. This is now we're talking. We have got a cataplana from Nazaré, which is brilliant. I will bring those onto the screen in due course. So they need a little bit of download in there. Oh, and Andy's been busy as well. Thank you, Andy, for that as well. Oh, yes, you really do need to see this, everybody. I've got a little preview of some lovely prawns, shrimps. Oh, do we go there? Are we going to have that discussion about when is a prawn a shrimp or a prawn, or maybe not? I don't know. It's perhaps again, it's an American thing.
When is a Snickers a marathon? You know, all that.
Out of that territory, but yeah, it's the Americans with their walk-in fridges and their walk-in barbecues and all that sort of stuff. I have cataplana pictures for you though. This is the establishment, and I think this is a picture of the recently wiped clean plate. I'll take off your comment, Sharon. Because we want and the banner as well. Sorry, Owen, I've just got to take that off for a minute. I think that dish is near finished there, isn't it? But that's a really nice thing.
And yes, an awful lot of sauce.
A lot of sauce in that cataplana. And here is the main event. Where's it gone? Here it is. Beautifully photographed, Sharon, I have to say. Come on, Cole, get on with it. Where is it? There it is.
Oh, now then.
Now we're looking at we've got, what have we got in there? Can you see? We've definitely got
clams. We've got the big Madagascar prawns in there. Looks like some mussels as well.
Oh, stop it!
That looks amazing.
But looks like not a copper, but possibly an enamel cataplana.
It does look like an enamel one, doesn't it? No, I'm waiting to see because they normally have the clips on one side. You know, obviously for the lid to flip back over again.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the ones that I saw yesterday were all stainless steel, so that's immediately I wanted something a bit more authentic.
Are they vented, or does it steam inside? I guess you've got
to. It steams inside.
But you want quite a good seal on the lid, don't you?
You want a really good seal. A lot of them you'll just see that it's just got 4 handles. You know, but obviously because it's lidded, it's just 4 handles, and you're just closing it that way. Whereas I would prefer the clips. You've got 4 clips that go around the edge, just so that you're sealing everything in, because the whole point of the cataplana is to cook everything inside there, and you know that's the whole thing. And the presentation in particular, when you come to the table and you open that up, it's all there. But yeah, I would definitely say get one that seals well.
Okay, but it must be able to vent to some degree, mustn't it? Otherwise you're going to have a seafood explosion.
Yeah.
My aging father used to like a boiled egg. And you know what? If you boil an egg and forget about it, it does explode eventually in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
something I had to deal with on one of his visits to his house. I was still finding bits of yolk weeks later, on the ceiling and whatever. So I have a little bit of a vent on that, but you keep as much of the flavour in as possible. And go to Taberna Adelia in Nazaré for a lovely looking cataplana. Thank you, Sharon, for that. Really appreciate that. And let's go back to the comments and see what people are saying about these few dishes that we've shared with you. We'll share a few more and we'll talk about pret-a-manger in just a moment, I think, because we need to. The crab and the lobster was very good. It would be in Nazaré, wouldn't it? I was a teenage shepherd. Sheep have a singular goal in life. They want to go somewhere you can't get to, stick their legs in the air and die. I didn't know that about sheep. Learn something new every day. Shepherding isn't an attractive career choice. Well, that's good. We might have saved a lot of people a lot of bother this morning. In Brazil, thank you, Sarah. In Brazil, we have a wonderful dessert: mix avocado, cane sugar, and lime juice, and a bit of extract in a food processor. Serve cold with or without whipped cream. We're sounding a bit like Garvo's dance routine again with the mention of whipped cream. However, My here we go. The coffee is incoming.
Hey.
Morning, Mr. M. People, we
Morning,
had
Mrs. M.
we had good feedback about your children's TV green screen tricks earlier. Was it last week? Last week. She couldn't find her green T-shirt. Okay, it just makes your face very red when you wear green. I mean, not you personally.
Should the rest of us just leave, Carl, while you have this conversation?
Former queue behind Gilda, if you're angry with me. In my look at that is the gold cup.
I know. Hey,
gold edition, fantastic. Just like I like it. Thank you. So what do we think about that? Avocado, cane sugar, lime juice. That's some nice contrast going on in there.
I think that's worth a make. Is that I have the vanilla extract, I have the lime, I have the avocados, and I might be making that later on actually.
Would you go there with the whipped cream though? Whipped cream's making it
sound no, I wouldn't go there with the whipped cream. Looks good enough as it is.
Maybe a sweet biscuit to spread it onto. That could be quite nice, couldn't it? A bit of crunchy texture there with that. But Maxine, I didn't realize you were in Brazil. And should we be calling you Meijin? I think Meijin, possibly. Let us know on that. And apologies to anyone whose name I've been pronouncing for the last 2 years incorrectly. Barbara, dzień dobry. Thank you very much. Igualmente to you, Barbara. And Frau FSC, good morning, everyone. Wish you all a very beautiful Wednesday. Okay, then we're going to do the coffee. Ouch! We're going to do the coffee. Everybody. I just need the full screen for a moment.
Okay.
These 80s television, 70s television effects. Stand by, and we'll come straight back to you with more talk of food in just a moment. Okay, my coffee is coming in. Here we go. As if by magic. The floating coffee.
Hey!
Careful. Oh my goodness! Thank you very much indeed. She's such a professional. She wasn't going to let that stop her. I just was reminded then of when I was front of house. You're a kitchen guy, of course. Front of house. I was front of house for a little while. Spilt a cup of coffee on a guy's lap while serving it, and fresh coffee, so it must have hurt a bit. But he was very British about it and didn't make a fuss. But I was put back in the kitchen after that. Understand?
Oh dear.
But have you ever been up front of house, or have you always been a kitchen guy?
I've been front of house. 1991, I was at Butlins Bognor Regis. I was a restaurant supervisor.
Oh,
I have a funny tale about that. We had Mike Reed, for all of them, not from the UK. He was a comedian stroke actor that was on the soap opera EastEnders for a while. Frank Butcher. Right. But we had an evening on where all the new staff was out clearing the tables, and Mike Reed was actually in the middle of his comedy skit, and unfortunately, one of my members of staff, you could hear the cups and saucers rattling as Mike Reed was trying to do his act, and Mike Reed didn't like it. In fact, Mike Reed started to pick on said member of staff.
Oh dear!
And I started to laugh at first, but then the professional in me said, "No, go and help him." So as I went to go and help my member of staff, Mike Reed just went in his voice, "Oi, oi." And I said instantly off the top of my head, "Switch the lights off so he can't see me." And everybody laughed.
Oh,
Mike Reed didn't like that. He didn't like that at all, I'm afraid.
Wow.
But these are the things that happen.
Owen 1, Mike Reed 0, by the sound of it.
Exactly that.
Yes, you took the crowd to your side. He might be telling that story as well, the comedy masterclass. That's it. Yeah. I was a teenage shepherd. That's such a good start to a story, that, isn't it? Bon dia, dearest Joao. And earlier on, Michelle was loving the avocado sauce, if that's what you called it, the accompaniment to your bacalhau interpretation. I think we need to talk about Portuguese desserts and which one you fancy making. So do you want to do that now or later, Owen?
We'll do that later.
Okay, we'll come back to that then. Bon dia, Carl and Owen. Todos, is it still hot there? How is the weather in Leiria, Owen?
As my daughter used to say, it's like a roast chicken.
It's like a roast chicken in Leiria, and it is like, what can I say? Like a sausage roll here. not quite as hot as a roast chicken, but 22 degrees here, but very, very humid, I have to say. And yeah, crab and lobster then in Nazare. I was listening in the background, says Andrew Gilchrist. Shush, you're making me hungry. That is the problem when Owen is on. Rebel Mama's here. Olá, pessoal. Chuva mais tarde. Aqui mais precisamos. Dobrada e feijoada are common up here. We'll go to feijoada. It has to be spoken about when we talk about Portuguese food. I have trouble eating much of the food here in the north, sadly. I'm not used to rustic fare. So what is it? Too much? Too rich? What is the problem? Or you just like a little bit more things, a little bit more.
I don't know. Maybe it's the portion sizes, Carl, because they do tend to be rather large. Some of the portion sizes of the food, don't they?
And maybe very meaty as well. But I guess it's made for the cold climate and the working person, perhaps there. I'm going to go back to, actually, no, we'll come back to those Portuguese dishes because I'm going to stir it up a little bit now, Owen, and talk about this pret-a-manger expansion into Europe. Pret-a-manger and Ibersol Group have announced they've reached an agreement to launch the Pret brand and products across Spain and Portugal. And that's interesting, isn't it? When you talk about your food as a brand and a product, it kind of takes the flavor and aroma away somewhat, doesn't it? And it's all about the numbers. Through the terms of the agreement, Ibersol Group will bring Pret's freshly made food and organic coffee to customers in Spain and Portugal, which the retailer says marks another step in its expansion into new regions and countries. Famously, when Pret went to New York, it flopped. I don't know if that remained the case, but in New York, of course, you go into a deli and you say something like we've seen in the movies, "Give me a hot pastrami on rye, hold the pickle," or something like that, don't you? And you order what you want. I've probably got to work on my New Yorker accent as well, but you get the gist. You order what you want. In pret-a-manger, it's ready to go, as the name suggests, and you don't choose. Is that going to be a problem in Portugal?
It won't work in Portugal. I'm telling you, it won't work in Portugal. You know, the coffee is already well established here. We know that's a fact. It's all dependent, in my view, on what they term as snacks and what they'll be serving, because there's nothing worse than a brand moving into the country that's not of their origin and setting up, because they tend to go and use the things that they are famous for, rather than looking at where they are. And I'm getting to something here, because in Lisbon, I've noticed the Jamie Oliver restaurant, and it's Jamie's Italian. Jamie's Italian in Portugal. Jamie's Italian. Just get that out of your head. Jamie's Italian. And not one Portuguese dish on the menu. So this is what I'm saying with pret-a-manger. If they could, I don't know, if their organic coffee is something special, make a point of it. However, make sure you've got at least 2 or 3 Portuguese dishes there on your menu sheet, because you're just a brand. Otherwise, you're just a brand.
Just like McDonald's do with their pastel de nata and Mac Bifana. Well, it's true that McDonald's have tried very badly.
They have tried, but miserably.
And I had a proper bit, to make the point. The Mac Bifana, I had to try it, but I had a proper Bifana last night. And funnily enough, I've got the picture of this place. It's called Mega Food, and it's at the Festa. You know, these folks tour around, don't they? The country, and you'll see them at different festivals, and they've got a red M on there.
Yes, they was at the Villeria Fair. I know the one you mean.
my young, that's the power of this stuff. My 3-year-old says there's a McDonald's here, and it was just a copy. Actually, I've got it. It's called the Mega Bar, and the M is done in a fantastic.
That's the one.
Yeah, and
I did a double take. I did a double take when I saw that at the Villeria Fair. I thought, you are joking. No, it's not McDonald's.
Yeah, but because I guess they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't go on the Festa circuit like that. Although some people might have it delivered, mightn't they, to a Festa? But we had a Bifana from there, and what's happening here? When you've had a proper Bifana, you're all right, mate.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the screen then, and I thought I heard a whip crack. Which takes me back, I have to say. I had a problem even under the fairground circumstances, as it were. And I don't mean that as a put down. I just think it's incredible, the quality of food that's prepared in basically a field kitchen. The Bifana was beautiful. It wasn't tough at all, nicely marinated. And they're doing this in a place that looks like this, folks, at a festa. So here, this is the one I think you've seen. Look at that, the mega bar.
That's the one.
where you could choose from bifanas, kebabs, durum, which is a wrap, isn't it, and the cachorro there. At my diner experience, my beloved 24 horas on the IC2 on Sunday night, I'm stood at the counter and I'm saying to the young lady behind the counter, dois cachorro. She's looking at me. Cachorro. No. And she's, oh, cachorro. Just the chirp was enough to have her not understand what the hell I was saying. Shout out to Megabar. Your bifanas are beautiful. So you might see that at a festa near you as part of the festa circuit at the moment. Where are we? We've been distracted quite a lot. Owen, a question for you. How does one deal with unpeeled shrimp in a dish? I grew up in a place where shrimp in food is just the meat of the shrimp. That's the American way, isn't it? Do you know Americans that actually fish have bones in them? I don't know if all Americans know that, do they? Not shell, legs, head and eyes, lol. Not sure how to eat it. So really, Rebel Mama, we need to take Rebel Mama out for lunch, do we not? You get your fingers there, you peel it yourself, don't you?
You peel it yourself. It's part of the pleasure. Get your fingers all oily and everything else. Get your hands in there. Lovely. It's all part of the eating process.
Absolutely, that's right. And a rustic fare you were describing as, nah, I'm just a scared baby about it. I grew up in LA where we ate bad frozen TV dinners growing up. Oh, bless you. Also, I was a vegetarian for a decade, only ate chicken before moving. I can understand that would be a massive culture shock, wouldn't it? Yeah. TV dinners and mainly chicken. And in an American style, and then coming to the north of Portugal. That is quite a contrast to with there. This is a great topic. Beverly, good evening. Why am I saying good evening? It might be for you, Beverly, but good morning to you from where we are. This is a great topic. Thank you, as I never know what to order and usually go safe in case there are pig's ears. That's the cogida, isn't it? Portuguese. Baby eels or other bits I'm not fond of floating about. That's a grim picture because we don't eat out that much. I don't want it to be something I absolutely hate. It was 46 degrees 2 days ago. It's not evening. Are you wishing it was though? And the temperature was dropping a little bit. Currently 29 degrees already. 29 already. Excuse me. Wow. Okay. Well, it's our pleasure, Beverly, and we'll return to the scrolling through the dishes here. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. Give me a moment. We're working our way through 10 dishes you should try according to the culture trip. We got to arroz de tamboril. Oh, and I've got a question for you about tamboril. This is monkfish, isn't it? Really hard. How do you stop it being tough, Owen?
Quick. It's a quick cook, is that? Because it's one of those things as well that would you believe doesn't have a lot of flavour, monkfish itself. Yeah. So I would say heavily seasoned, heavily spiced. I would cook it probably maybe 5-6 minutes each side.
Yeah, I found it chewy and tasteless, exactly as you said, as though it were had fallen out of a machine, as sort of a rubbery item that didn't respond well to my cooking anyway. This is an interesting treatment, isn't it? When you have arroz of something, we're talking about risotto, as the Americans would say, risotto or paella style, aren't we? So risotto, paella, arroz de something is cooked with and in the rice, and often with a tomato sauce, right?
So it's similar, almost using same technique as a paella as well, I would say. Yeah. Sorry to mention something Spanish, Portuguese viewers, but
outrageous. So, and you might like that if you have arroz de marisco. Then you've got the cataplana flavors coming into a rice dish. That's pretty safe for Beverly, isn't it? Not good for Rebel Mama though, because for Rebel Mama you will have shrimps with the skin on, and you'll have to get your fingers in there, Rebel Mama, to do that. But arroz de marisco is safe if you like a bit of seafood, and you're not going to have any pig's ears or snails or eels floating in that. A sorda. Now this is a. Do you like a sorda? I had a strange experience with this, but go on. Do you like it?
And you know, the Alentejo is one of the places that I am yet to visit, and I'm dying to visit, obviously because of the vineyards and the food. So it's one of the other ones once again that I'm looking forward to visiting down at the Algarve and actually trying this there, because I think authenticity is the key. And if you want eat a Portuguese dish, eat it in the place where it originated.
Good call. Good call. My experience of this, I think, was in Nazaré over 10 years ago. First trip to Portugal. And talking of rustic food, you know, this is a dish, and every culture has one, doesn't it, that uses up old bread, I think. And it is crafted out of day-old bread and the rest, I think, sometimes, and mashed with garlic, bits of coriander, olive oil, vinegar, and poached eggs. And not only does every culture have a bread-based dish to use the leftovers, every culture has or restaurant culture has a dish that is done for you by the waiter as they stand beside you, like the Peking duck, I suppose, in a Chinese restaurant. The waiter gets a bit of a moment of theatre, don't they? And sometimes with the assorda, the egg will be broken into the dish as it arrives at the table, and a quick flourish of cutlery. You've got your garfo and your faca flying everywhere, and they mix the egg in for you into what is quite a porridge, I have to say. Not a big fan. I have had some interesting interpretations of this. Worth a try, though. And I think the first thing to say is if you're happy with the bread base of it, you're going to be okay. But if you don't want it made out of old bread, stay away from the assorda. Do you know Peginos de Horta? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that before as one of the things we should try. So maybe we should move on to feijoada. Really important, very good dish for the vegans and vegetarians to focus on, unless, of course, the person preparing your food thinks a vegetarian version of it is less meat. It might have a bit of chorizo in there, might it not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you remember, when I was here at the docks a few months ago, I actually did the feijoada as a vegetarian meal for us all, and did actually provide you with the photographs there of it as well. But yeah, I think it's one of the things that if I was to do and they were meat eaters, it would feature pork. I'm not saying ears, snouts, and everything else, but I think pork would go really, really nice, just purely because of the texture of the pork and the beef.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense that this soul-soothing comfort food, say Culture Trip, where we've taken this top 10 from, it makes sense that this soul-soothing comfort food is served during cool and rainy winters. In the rural region of Trás-os-Montes, that's up in the north, this means a colourful stew of red and white beans studded with hunks of pork, sometimes including the ears and snouts, but not necessarily. You can interpret this as you wish. Sausages and lightly fried vegetables with spice of cumin, cloves, garlic, and paprika. Some versions cooked near the water substitute meat with whelks. Are you partial to a whelk? I do like a chewy whelk myself, and who doesn't?
No. I do like my seafood and my shellfish, but whelks, no.
No. Okay. We are into the last few minutes. We want to go to all the comments for sure. So let's see what you might want to talk about. We've got Porco Preto on there, which is very Alentejo. From the Alentejo, we've got Sopa de Pedra, Aliera de Mirandela. Great backstory on that. And of course, the legendary Bacalhau, Francesina, and Pastéis de Nata. And polvo, the octopus. Which ones of those there's more than 10 there, I'm sure. Which ones of those would you like to dwell on and say a bit about, even if you haven't tried it and would like to cook it, Owen?
It's the cataplana. It would have to be the cataplana. Like I say, I was out searching yesterday, and I've made that as my mission now, is to find myself a cataplana and to make a dish. In fact, the majority of the dishes that are on here, I'm going to be trying over maybe the next few months or so, work permitting.
And I think you said as well, you're going to be meeting a few of the Portuguese who might have this as a speciality in their restaurant and do a video.
Exactly that. What I'm trying to do with that, I'm trying to compile a list of the Portuguese restaurants and find out about the speciality dish, and then hopefully go along to them one day and we can do the filming, whether it's recorded filming or before opening chat with the owners and the chefs of the restaurants, and just see how we get on there. Obviously, it's going to be testing my Portuguese as well, so I won't be taking a Filomena with me, but just me and my little Portuguese knowledge that I have.
Can't wait to see that, mate. They are stainless steel, right? Are we talking about belly dancing? I don't know what was that.
I think it's the cataplana. You find the majority of them are on the market, but I would prefer to have an original copper one.
There you go. Gumper's meeting up. Rebel Mama and Sarah there. And Megine is in Estoril, but lived in Brazil, France, UK, USA, Switzerland. Wow. Megine. Spain, Sweden, Austria, many years. Wow, you're incredible. Kawaii Pandas, yuck. Yeah, people can be horrible. Sorry. Oh, this was a worst job thing that we were talking about. Sorry, I might have missed that, Kawaii Pandas. Also, we'll come back to the Portuguese desserts that you might try. But I've lost you, Kawaii Pandas. Maybe we shouldn't go into your work right now. Let's
well, while you're there, I'm just going to put my chocolate cake in the oven.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's have the. Oh, look at these two. Oh yeah, my worst job is my current job, calling people up asking if they want to do a survey. It could be worse, I know, but the verbal abuse for minimum wage. I am so sorry to hear that. You're just like Rebel Mama. How horrible for you. I hope that improves for you. The clattering you can hear is the vegan chocolate cake going into the oven. And we will, if we could talk about the recipe of that would be pretty good, because we can't leave people hanging there. I was
okay. So I'll give you the recipe. We have plain flour, caster sugar, bicarbonate of soda, vegan cocoa powder, salt, unsweetened soya milk, vegetable oil, white vinegar, and vanilla extract. And the ganache is made from a vegan dark chocolate and plant-based milk. And then I'm even going to put on, look, I've even got, going to big extremes here now. Some nice little decorations for the top.
What are those?
The roses.
Oh, roses. Sorry, it was there was a reflection on there. I thought they were some rolling.
It is supposed to look like that. I don't know if you can see the cookery book there.
Beautiful, excellent.
But that's what I'm attempting to do. And as I will say, as my disclaimer, I've only actually been doing puddings for about the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm still not there, nowhere near there. So this is quite a challenge for me, but it will be a successful one. I know.
How about that, Owen? Next time you're on, let's do Portuguese puds next time you're on, because that will be great. Breaking up the
no problem at all.
So we'll do that. I worked at a Middle Eastern restaurant in Phoenix, and it was fun. The yelling in the kitchen was in English, Arabic, and sometimes in Spanish. That's fantastic. Don't forget, you can win dinner for two. Like the Cairo page. Tell them how far in a private message it is from Caldash to Cairo, and you might win yourself dinner for two with booze and belly dancing on the 17th. That's this coming Friday. I was once driving along trying to open my thermos flask when the bottom dropped out and smashed in my lap. There is a moral to the. Could you not sue somebody, Gary? I assisted with lambing in Scotland. Kate's here. One long ago, February, March. Sheep find places to lamb that maximise their chances of giving foxes an easy meal instead of the nice warm barn. There you go. Who knew we would discover so much about sheep this morning? Thank you, Kate. I love oysters and can open them very well. That is a skill, isn't it? And there's a special name for the knife, isn't there? I bought shucking. It's called shucking.
Shucking's right, yeah.
Shuck first thing in the morning. I bought some in Portugal and needed a hammer and chisel to open them, but they were very tasty. You're very good value as well. Name of the avocado dessert is creme de abacate. There you go. I think
Thank you.
In that one. Sorry, I didn't even start by saying good morning to you. Don't worry, Joao F. All is well. I used to drink avocado smoothies, which are so yummy. Yes, nice. Andy used to like Mike Reed, but not anymore after hearing your story, I suspect. Our pleasure to be of service to you this morning, Beverly. And Gary has been eating a lot more veggie food lately, and I think everyone will be okay if Putin turns off the gas supply to Europe. Another service Gary can provide to the community there. I was off. Was this a dad joke? I was once offered fruit bat curry, which I declined, but I wish I have. So it's not a dad joke. It's a true story.
No, it's true. Wow.
Can't imagine there's a lot of meat on there. Can you?
No, I can't. The wings are all stringy.
If you're offered a wing or a leg, you got to go for the wing, really, I suppose, haven't you? But I can't see. I agree with Owen. Pret a manger should add Portuguese dishes to their menu. So that's gone. Lead balloon so far in that territory there. I love most seafood, says Beverly, but not the tiny snails, caracoish, especially when they arrive and their cute little faces are all expectant looking at you. And with fish, I'm not keen on too many bones. So though I love the taste of sardines, it takes me ages to eat them. It's painful to watch me. Yes, what a nightmare to take you out for dinner, Beverly. I love that dish with pork and clams. Yes, and fried potato cubes. Porco d'Alentejo. Delicious. The name evades me. That's the another Alan your dish. Fresh mulberries right off the tree yesterday. There's a serving suggestion for you. Sweetbreads wrapped goat intestines is awfully good. That's a dad joke and a serving suggestion right there. Shout out! I think Alentejo Food wins it this morning, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Pick a bowl. Is another suggestion. Try the pick a bowl. Often at festivals. Owen, did you ever try the pau de milho leftovers toasted in butter, honey?
I did actually. It went really nice with rice pudding. I made my own rice pudding, and then I added cinnamon and honey to the pau de milho that Gary gave to me. And it was garbo. It was beautiful. I'm not doing it for you either.
bit of ice cream. Arroz con pato. That's duck meat with rice. Well, in colder weather, yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? That you often see. Beef Portuguese is a great dish at lunchtime. Thank you for all of these. This is fantastic.
Thank you, Victoria.
Hiya, Owen. Eating fish or veggie most of the time, it's much nicer than all that heavy meat. You'll get used to taking the shells off. The flavors are better when mariscos are cooked in the shell. That's the point, isn't it? If you leave the shells on the shrimp, they have their own little stewing thing going on. Right. Very good.
Imagine, what you have to imagine is all that flavor that's been trapped under that shell. And once you've released that, you've just got a flavor sensation. It's amazing.
Carl, stop
Don't
eating.
be worried about the shell.
Thank you for that. Mind your own business, Andrew. I'll eat what I like.
Yeah. Leave it, Andrew. Leave it.
Oh, Saudade from Jeff Owen says good health to all. I thought it was like wishing saudade.
And to you, Jeff.
Nice one, Jeff. Great to see you here in at the end of the show there. A great assorta here at Convivo in Sintra Ligio. So it's good to get a good assorta suggestion because, if it's a bit too bready and porridgey, it can be a little bit weird. My neighbours and French friends thought our Belgian spaghetti bolognese, the max, ever tasted Owen or Carl? Has anyone ever tasted Owen or Carl here? I had to make a whole kettle full Belgian spaghetti bolognese. How would you interpret?
Come on, Jeannie. You're gonna have to tell us more about this.
It's 2 minutes over time. We got to go. Make sure you enter that Cairo competition. And Owen's got a cake to bake. Have had many iterations of fresh caught octopus served with local Algarve sweet potato. Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's a mixture and a half.
Sounding good. Wrap it in. What is it? Wrap it in bacon and put it on a barbecue. He doesn't say what, so just be careful with what you wrap in bacon and put on the barbecue, Andy. The only trouble with a copper cataplana is that it won't work on the induction cooktop. What are you doing cooking on induction? Gas only, right, Owen?
Gas or wood?
Gas. Gas or wood? Gas or wood?
Gas or wood? Gas or wood? Come on.
Mean to Rebel Mama. She didn't grow up with shellfish. In California, they give people special cutlery and finger bowls when eating lobsters. Yeah, and that bones in fish thing. It's a funny old world. This, isn't it, of ours? Fondle that like button for this delicious show. Thank you very much, Cindy. Maybe see you later on. No, please, guys. Happy vibes. It's just something I'm doing on the side to move to lovely Portugal. All worthwhile in the end. Lots of love to you anyway, though, Kawaii Pandas. Each time somebody's been nasty to you on the telephone, you just think of us and our smiling red face here. Okay. I was 30 in my 30s before I learned how to eat crab in the shell. Amazing. But what a moment. A bit like Shakespeare. It's probably wasted on kids. Many models of cataplanas in the big store of household goods in the center. Pollux. There's no need for that, is
Thank you. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Carl.
Yes, Pollux, definitely. Reasonable prices. Okay, don't give warning then, a reiteration, don't give your dog chocolate unless there's special doggy chocolate, which I used to like as a kid. I did like eating dog chocolate, but my taste did get somewhat more refined. I get told that all the time, but the food cooks so quickly on gas, I'm not used to it yet. Induction, come on, what's that all about? Although some chefs do like it, don't they? I mean, I think there's professional induction, which
lazy. The lazy man want to cook on gas and wood. The best thing to do.
That's a really good. I must make that into a meme, a little. Oh, it's cooking advice there. Great to see you, mate.
Andrew.
last word to you. I'm going to also put on this sardine cooking video from Andy. So if you need to watch that before I'm able to show it, you can. Thanks, everybody. Competition details there. Make sure you get into Cairo. We're going to look forward to Portuguese puds when you're on. I think it's on the 3rd Wednesday, isn't it, of the month. So next time we see you, some Portuguese puds. And maybe something we can make if all it takes is mashing up a few Maria biscuits. Mash it up with the
mash it up, man, good style, you know.
I'm looking forward to it already.
Me too, Carl.
Last word to you. Then you want to get into the some Cataplanner business. Anything else? Any highlights? And we also shout out your email.
Well, no. What I really like to say is that I thoroughly enjoyed the barbecue we had on the Sunday. If anybody is interested in organising a barbecue in your particular area for us to come along, and you don't fancy cooking, give me a shout. I'm quite happy to come along and do the cooking for you. What else do I need to say? Yes, have a brilliant day.
Nice one. From the bottom of his heart, from the heart of his bottom, it's that random smile.
I'm going to go all freeze frame. I'm going to go all freeze frame on you now, Carl.
The heart-to-heart connection. Thank you. We always have that with Owen when he's on. Take care, mate. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. I saw what you did. I did that to Gilda the other day, and it just went down like a lead balloon, didn't it? She kind of. Would you want to play poker with Gilda? Don't anybody do that. He's doing it again. Look at him. Stop it.
No, I wouldn't want to play poker with him. I wouldn't.
See you later, mate.
No.
There he goes, winding me up big time. Just one last McDonald's mention then for Andy and Owen there. Pret a manger, we're not too sure about that. All those lovely dishes, the link to them, so you can tick them off like a bingo list. That's in the chat. Thank you very much, The Culture Trip, for that list of Portuguese foods. I'm sure there were more than 10 in there. And the dinner for two, we're going to close that now, but you just go over there, like Cairo on Facebook, and send them a message with the distance from Caldas da Rainha to Cairo. And don't forget, tomorrow evening, it's a webinar about the cost of living in Portugal with a special emphasis on utilities. Okay, this has been Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday with the marvelous Owen Lloyd-Martin. Don't forget, if you're not already a member over there on expatsportugal.com, the website, we are more than a YouTube channel, much more than a YouTube channel and a podcast. We have the website, and let's get those Venn diagrams of our operation overlapping. If you've not been to the forum yet, where have you been? What have you been doing? Why are you only watching the videos? Go over to expatsportugal.com. You can become a free member. You can become a premium member, where you can get some pretty cool discounts, I have to say, and perks and benefits. And if you become a Premium Plus member, with whom I'll be hanging out at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, Thursday night. We do that every week. If you want some turbocharging, hand-holding and support, cheerleader, mentor, and occasional kick up the bum if you need it, join our Premium Plus level. Great video from Trevor and Shannon, who really enjoyed that when you land on our YouTube page. So lots about moving to Portugal and loving life in Portugal from expatsportugal.com. Join us at the webinar tomorrow where we can hang out in a different way. And I'll see you in the morning with Global International Relocation, where we'll talk about moving things to Portugal primarily, but they move things all around the world. If you want to have any questions on moving stuff, shipping stuff to Portugal or from Portugal, tune in tomorrow morning. Last few comments. I think we've gone over 10, haven't we? This is interesting. Cooking is on induction is the most sustainable way. Gas is the past. There are other ways of making gas, though, because look at Gary. Gary's making gas all day long. And surely, like in some rustic situations, if you compost your biogas, that is a really sustainable way, I would have thought. Great show, lots of fun. Thank you, Colin. It's our pleasure. Cairo restaurant looks amazing. I'd love to go. Like them. I swear by induction cooktops too, says Michelle, and IKEA has them as well. Well, that must be all right then. McDonald's probably don't. No, I can't go anywhere until October. My travel funds are all gone. It's a crowdfunder to get Rebel Mumba moving around Portugal. Thanks, Owen from Michelle, and by Owen from Kawaii Pandas as well. You've been amazing, everybody. Yes, we have our own Expats Portugal Cataplana. That'd be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? Copper Cataplana with the Expats Portugal logo on there. I will put that memo into the organization, and I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. for a bit of shipping, a bit of a shipping Q&A. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Just one last photo for you to dwell on, and I'll show it again at the end of the show. Oh, do you know what I wanted to show you? I wanted to show you my Karakoish picture. I think I left it on up at the end of the show yesterday. But Beverly was talking about snails. These are the little snails that people eat here in Portugal. Nice with a cold beer. And they're in Foz just recently. You could have just scraped them off that post. Best post on Facebook that was that day. And a little bit of, dare I say it, salt, pepper, and olive oil. And you've got yourself a lovely snack with a cold beer. Last picture for you this morning. No, not that one. This one, walking home from the Festa last night, the Sant'Antonio Festa, which you can come to if you come to the meetup today. You will see the Sant'Antonio Festa midway through. We're partying here in San Martino de Porto until next Sunday. But the meetup today, lots of lovely friends will be there, and it will be right in the middle of the festivities. Great day to come. But this is what I saw on the way home last night as we wearily trudged home after lots of fun at the Festa. That's what we were greeted by, that lovely moody picture of the Atlantic. You've been amazing this morning. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Or maybe at the meetup. Bye.